Hello everyone, very good afternoon to one and all, and I welcome you in the next lecture of heat transfer. Whether my voice is audible and can you see my presentation? I suggest you please rotate your screen for more visibility, and you can use zoom feature also. Please comment in the chat box whether my voice is audible. Can you see my presentation? Great. So. In the last lecture, we have discussed about the general heat conduction equation. Okay, so general heat conduction equation we have derived as del of K multiplied by del of T plus Q suffix G is equal to rho multiplied by C multiplied by dabba T divided by dabba small t. Okay, so del operator we have used here for this particular bracket, and also del operator we have used for the temperature. Okay, so it suggests that del operator suggests that the this particular bracket changes with respect to axis, and also it suggests that the temperature is also changing with respect to the direction or the with respect to the axis. Okay, so we know that the K is the thermal conductivity, rho suffix G, T is the temperature, Q suffix G is the heat generated per unit volume per unit time, rho is the density, then C is the specific heat capacity, specific heat of the material, and delta, and this is the change in temperature with respect to change in time. Okay. So further we have derived this for the particular forms, and we have discussed the two forms. One is when the thermal conductivity is constant, and it will be happen when the material is isotropic material. Okay, so if the property of a material does not change with the direction or does not change with the axis, then it will be called as a isotropic material. So if you are considering the material is isotropic material and K is constant throughout the material, then we have discussed that K suffix X is equal to K suffix Y is equal to K suffix Z is equal to K. Okay, so we are considering that K is the constant. Okay, so K is the constant, and further we have modified the general heat conduction equation by dividing by taking out the common from the K common from the first term of the equation, and further we are dividing it on both the side by K. So we will get the equation, and we have once again we have applied the del operator for the differentiation, and uh, uh, here we get the equation in the double derivative form. Okay, so here we are taking del square T plus Q suffix G multiplied by 1 upon K, or Q suffix G divided by K is equal to rho C divided by K multiplied by dabba T divided by dabba small t. Okay, so here we have introduced one terminology called as a thermal diffusivity. Okay, and its equation for the thermal diffusivity is K by rho C. So thermal diffusivity can be defined as it is the ratio of a thermal conductivity to the thermal capacity. Okay, where K is the thermal conductivity and rho multiplied by C is equal to thermal capacity. Okay, so further we have modified this equation by replacing rho C divided by K into 1 upon alpha. Okay, we have replaced rho C divided by K by 1 upon alpha. Okay, that is nothing but inverse of thermal diffusivity, because K by rho C is the thermal diffusivity, but in our equation rho C divided by K is there. Okay, rho C divided by K is there. So for that purpose we have introduced 1 upon rho C, 1 upon alpha. We have introduced 1 upon alpha. So further we have discussed one more form of general heat conduction equation. In that case we have considered that there is no internal heat generation in the element. Okay, So if you consider that the element of a wall or any substance which is not generating the heat at a particular instant, or while doing the study on that object particular object is not generating the heat, in that case what will be the equation we need to apply to carry out the energy balance equation or heat conduction for that particular object. So in that case we have to consider Q suffix G, that is the heat generation per unit volume per unit time, equal to 0. Okay, Q suffix G, that is heat generation per unit volume per unit time, is equal to 0. Okay, so our equation 3 becomes del square T is equal to 1 upon alpha multiplied by dabba T divided by dabba small t. Okay, so equation number 3 is only here only. Okay, del square T plus Qg multiplied by 1 upon K, or Qg divided by K, is equal to 1 upon alpha multiplied by dabba T divided by dabba small t. When you introduce internal heat is equal to 0, internal heat generation is equal to 0, then Q suffix G will be equal to 0, and this is this second term of the equation, whole term becomes a 0. Okay, so the equation will be deduced into del square T multiplied by 1 upon alpha multiplied by dabba T divided by dabba small t. Okay, getting everyone? And once we elaborate this particular del square T in the normal format, or if you remove out the del operator from this equation, so we will get the generalized equation, okay, without del operator. Okay, so that equation will be called it as a Fourier's equation. The case, remember this case, what is the case? Case is there is no internal heat generation. So in that case we will get the Fourier's equation. We will get the Fourier's equation. Okay, this is called as a Fourier's equation. Okay, so further we can deduce into Fourier's law. This equation further we can deduce into Fourier's law. Okay, so next form of this general heat conduction equation we have to consider. So here the form will be stated as steady state heat conduction, for steady state heat conduction. So steady state we have to apply it for the thermal boundaries. Okay, steady state means what? If you consider any velocity or the acceleration or anything, okay, so it is not changing, or temperature or pressure, it is not changing with respect to time, then that particular property will be considered as a steady state property for the particular condition, okay, or for the particular system. Okay, so in this case we are dealing with the temperature only. So steady state heat conduction will be applicable if the temperature is not going to change with respect to time. If temperature is not going to change with respect to time, then we can say that that heat conduction is considered to be a steady state heat conduction. That heat conduction will be considered as a steady state heat conduction. Okay, so temperature is not changing with respect to time. Okay, so in our equation number 3, if you consider our equation number 3, okay, so here the temperature in the last term, 1 upon alpha multiplied by dabba T divided by dabba small t. So this term dabba T divided by dabba small t is nothing but what? Temperature change with respect to time. Temperature change with respect to time. Okay, dabba capital T divided by dabba small t is nothing but temperature change with respect to time. Okay, but when we apply the condition of steady state heat conduction, when we apply the condition of steady state heat condition, that is means what? Temperature is not changing with respect to time. So this term dabba T divided by dabba small t, dabba T divided by dabba small t will be equal to 0, will be equal to 0. And in when we modify equation number 3 by applying the steady state heat conduction assumption, then we will get the equation as del square T plus Q suffix G multiplied by 1 upon K is equal to 0. Okay, or del square T plus Qg divided by K equal to 0. Okay, now this equation will be called as a Poisson's equation. This equation is called as a complete equation is called as a Poisson's equation. Remember the condition? Condition is that the heat conduction is a steady state heat conduction. Heat conduction is a steady state heat conduction. In that case, temperature change with respect to time is equal to 0. Okay, temperature change with respect to time is equal to 0. And when we apply this condition to equation number 3, we will get the Poisson's equation. We will get the Poisson's equation, and that equation is nothing but del square T plus Qg divided by K is equal to 0. Okay, del square T plus Qg multiplied by 1 upon K is equal to 0. Getting everyone? So write down the next form of general heat conduction equation. Next form of general heat conduction equation, that is for steady state heat conduction. 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 That is dabba T, dabba capital T divided by dabba small t. Dabba capital T divided by dabba small t equal to 0. Equal to 0. This is the condition. Then equation 3 becomes del square T plus del square T plus Qg divided by K, or you can write Qg multiplied by 1 upon K. Here I cannot use the suffix in the equation format, so that I am using multiply. Okay, so you can directly write down it as a Qg divided by K. No issue. So del square T plus Qg divided by K is equal to 0, which is called as a Poisson's equation. Remember the condition also and remember the equation also. Both things are important. Okay, condition, after applying the steady state heat conduction equation to the general heat conduction equation, we will get this equation. Okay. Then next condition, in the absence of internal heat generation and steady state heat conduction. Now we are applying initial both condition. Okay, for the Fourier's equation we are considering that there is no internal heat generation, and for the Poisson's equation we are considering the steady state heat conduction. Okay, that is nothing but dabba T divided by dabba small t is equal to 0. Now in the next condition we are considering both the assumption, that is there is no internal heat generation or the absence of internal heat generation, and the heat conduction is a steady state heat conduction. Okay, both the condition we have discussed. Now only we are applying both the conditions at the same time on equation number 3. So that is Qg is equal to 0 and dabba T divided by dabba small t is equal to 0. When these two conditions applied on equation number 3, so the second term, that is Qg is equal to 0, so second term will becomes a 0, and once again the last term, that is dabba T divided by dabba small t is 0, so this last term is also become a 0 term. So we will get the equation as a del square T is equal to 0. Del square T is equal to 0. Okay, when you apply Qg is equal to 0, that is internal heat generation is 0 or absent for the element, and the heat conduction is a steady state heat conduction. So in that case we will get the equation as del square T is equal to 0. Del square T is equal to 0. So this del square T is equal to 0, this equation is called as a Laplace equation. This equation is called as a Laplace equation. So you can modify this equation and you can write this equation in general format as dabba 2t divided by dabba x square plus dabba 2t divided by dabba y square plus dabba 2t divided by dabba z square is equal to 0. Okay, so in this format also you can write this equation. Okay, please write down in next form of general heat conduction equation. In the absence of internal heat generation, in the absence of internal heat generation, in the absence of internal heat generation and steady state heat conduction and steady state heat conduction and steady state heat conduction and steady state heat conduction, that is qg q sub small q suffix g is equal to 0, small q suffix g is equal to 0, comma 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 dabba capital T divided by dabba small t, dabba capital T divided by dabba small t is equal to 0, is equal to 0. Then equation 3 becomes equation 3 becomes del square t del square t del square t del square t is equal to 0, del square t is equal to 0, del square t is equal to 0. Now this equation is called as a Laplace equation. Okay, Laplace equation. This equation is called as a Laplace equation. Remember the condition for the Fourier equation. Condition is internal heat generation, no internal heat generation. In that case, equation is called as a Fourier equation. For the Poisson's equation, steady state heat conduction. So in that case, the equation is called as a Poisson's equation. Okay, and once if you consider both the cases, that absence of internal heat generation or no internal heat generation and steady state heat conduction, in that case, whatever the equation we are getting, that equation is called as a Laplace equation. Okay, remember these conditions and the equations also. Okay, all things are important one. Okay, so next, steady state and one-dimensional heat transfer. Okay, now up till now we have discussed the three-dimensional equation because we are applying the three coordinates. Okay, three coordinate axis, and so that the equation becomes a three-dimensional equation. X, Y, Z coordinate system we are applying, so the equation becomes a three-dimensional equation. Now we have to deduce that equation in one-dimensional. Okay, we have to deduce that equation into one-dimensional. So further form of one-dimensional further form of general heat conduction equation is steady state and one-dimensional heat transfer. Okay, steady state and one-dimensional heat transfer. So once again, steady state means what? There is no change in temperature with respect to time. Steady state means what? There is no change in temperature with respect to time. So that we know that dabba T divided by dabba small t is equal to 0. And we are applying one condition, that one-dimensional. Okay, 1D equation. 1D equation. Consider any dimension. Okay, if you want to consider 1D as in x direction heat is flowing, so in that case only x coordinate we have to consider. In y direction heat is flowing, in that case only y coordinates or the y-axis only we have to consider. And if the heat is flowing in z direction, then only z direction only we have to consider, or z coordinates only we have to consider. Okay, so equation 3 becomes, okay, equation 3 becomes only one-dimensional. Okay, here we are considering only x-axis. Okay, for the understanding purpose we are considering only one axis. So other two axes we have removed out. Okay, other two axes we have removed out. So equation will get deduced into dabba 2t divided by dabba x square. because we are considering only one dimensional heat transfer and heat is flowing only in the x direction. So this is the condition. Then we have to consider only one coordinate axis, that is the x coordinate axis. Okay, and we have to consider that there is a change in temperature with respect to x axis only. There is a change in temperature with respect to x axis only. So the equation becomes dabba 2t divided by dabba x square plus qg multiplied by 1 upon k is equal to 0. Okay, why it is equal to 0? Because dabba t divided by dabba small t is equal to 0. And once we apply this condition to our equation number 3, so then the term after equal to will become a 0 term. Okay, and our first term, okay, x, y and z coordinates are removed, or the temperature change with respect to y and z coordinate, we have to consider it as a 0, and only we have to consider the temperature change with respect to x axis. So only one coordinate will be there, and only x coordinate we have considered over here. If you want to consider z coordinate, if you want to consider the y coordinate, you can convert this equation in the form of z direction only. You can convert this equation into y direction only. Okay, so this is the equation for the steady state and one dimensional heat transfer. Okay, getting everyone? Please write down steady state, steady state, steady state, steady state and 1D heat transfer. Steady state and 1D heat transfer. Steady state and 1D heat transfer. That is dabba t divided by dabba small t, dabba capital T divided by dabba small t is equal to 0, is equal to 0, is equal to 0, and 1D heat transfer, 1D heat transfer. Therefore equation 3 becomes, equation 3 becomes dabba 2t divided by dabba x square dabba 2t divided by dabba x square plus qg divided by k, or qg multiplied by 1 upon k is equal to 0, is equal to 0, is equal to 0. Okay, then further steady state, next form of general heat conduction equation is steady state one dimensional without internal heat generation. Okay, steady state one dimensional without internal heat generation. Okay, so the equation conditions that by considering this statement, the conditions are q suffix g, small q suffix g is equal to 0, then dabba t divided by dabba small t is equal to 0, and one dimensional heat conduction, that is 1D heat transfer, 1D heat transfer. So equation 3 becomes Roman 3, equation Roman 3 becomes equation Roman 3 becomes dabba 2t divided by dabba x square is equal to 0. Dabba 2t divided by dabba x square is equal to 0. Dabba 2t divided by dabba x square is equal to 0. Okay, so next form is steady state two dimensional without internal heat generation. Okay, steady state two dimensional without internal heat generation. So steady state means what? The dabba t divided by dabba small t is equal to 0. Then without internal heat generation means what? Small q suffix g is equal to 0, and two dimensional. Okay, so that is mean by we have to consider the two coordinate system. Okay, two coordinate system, Cartesian coordinate system. So if you want to consider x and y coordinate system, then you can consider that. If you want to consider x and z coordinate system, then that also you can consider. If you want to consider y and z coordinate system, then that also you can consider. Okay, so here we, for the understanding purpose, I have written the equation in the form of a x and y coordinate system only. X and y coordinate system only. So temperature changes with respect to x and temperature changes with respect to y. Okay, with respect to y. So equation becomes dabba 2t divided by dabba x square plus dabba 2t divided by dabba y square is equal to 0. Equation becomes dabba 2t divided by dabba x square plus dabba 2t divided by x square is equal to 0. Okay, please write down. Okay, over. So this is the end of this derivation, that is general heat conduction equation. What we have discussed up till now, this is about the one derivation. Okay. This is about the one derivation only. Okay. Further, now if you revise this particular point from the start, we'll come to know how far we are come across this derivation and where we start. Okay, initially we have considered one element which we considered as a parallelepiped, not a cube, and whose lengths are the sides are having the lengths dx, dz, and dy. Okay, so then we have given the nomenclature for each coordinates, or we can say that each corners of a A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay. Then further, what we have considered? We have considered the heat is entering inside the element in a positive x direction. Heat is entering in the element in a positive z direction, and heat is entering inside the element in a positive y direction. Whereas from opposite sides of this particular element, heat is leaving the element. Heat is leaving the element. Here we have considered qx amount of heat is entering from A, B, C, D phase, whereas q suffix x plus dx amount of heat is leaving from the phase A, F, G, from the phase E, F, G, H. Okay. So in this way, for the y direction also, q suffix y amount of heat is entering in the element, whereas q suffix y plus dy amount of heat is leaving the element. Okay. And this is the Cartesian coordinate system. For that purpose, we have considered the x, y, z axis only. Okay, x, y, z axis only. Now this element, if you consider this element, we have considered as an element of any heater or a heat generating element or press iron. Okay, so in that case, this particular element also generate the heat. Okay, so total heat generation will be equal to G is equal to x multiplied by dy multiplied by dz. Okay, so heat generation per unit time. This will be the heat generation per unit time. Further, we have considered that the temperature T. Okay, T is the phase, is the ABC. Then total change temperature given the distance D or E, G, then into small increment and further small in a positive change, let it be. Okay, so we have to consider T plus dabba T divided by dabba X is the small incremental change or decremental change. Nothing matter if temperature is going to decrease. then that will be the decremental change. If temperature is going to increase, then that will be the incremental change. So here we have considered that this is the change in a small element, and total change over the length will be considered by multiplying by dx. Okay, so dabba t divided by dabba x multiplied by dx will be equal to change of temperature through distance dx. Further, we have considered that the material is anisotropic. That is nothing but what? The thermal conductivity of a material changes with respect to direction. So in x direction, thermal conductivity is k suffix x. In y direction, thermal conductivity is k suffix y. And in z direction, thermal conductivity is k suffix z. Okay. Then note is consider that if thermal conductivity or directional characteristic of materials are equal or same, it is called as a isotropic material. And if it is unequal, then the difference or unequal or different, then it is called as a anisotropic material. Further, we have discussed about the energy balance equation. Okay, for the volume element, for the particular volume element, we have to consider the energy balance equation. So energy balance equation consists of a three part. One part is nothing but the net heat accumulated in the element due to conduction of heat from all the direction. Okay, or all sides. Okay, here you can write all sides plus heat generation generated within the element, and the third part is energy stored in the element. So according to the energy balance equation, we have provided the significance as A, B, C. Okay, A plus B plus C is equal to our first equation. A plus B is equal to C is our first equation. Okay, Roman 1. Okay, and further what we have done, we have considered the Q is equal to rate of heat flow in a given direction. If heat is flowing in x direction, then it will be equal to Q suffix x. If heat is flowing in a y direction, then it will be Q suffix y. And if the heat is flowing in a z direction, then it will be Q suffix z. And if you want to find out the total heat flow, so in that case, you have to multiply with the time interval. Okay, for which time interval we are carrying out this particular simulation, or for which time interval we are carrying out this particular heat transfer due to conduction. So that time interval we have to consider, and total heat flow in that direction, in a particular direction. If you consider the heat is flowing x direction, then Q suffix x multiplied by dt will be considered as a Q dash suffix x. Okay, and if you consider the heat is flowing in a y direction, then it will be Q suffix y multiplied by dt, that will be Q dash suffix y. Okay, that will provide you the total heat flow in that direction. Then further we entered in for the calculation of A, and for that reason we have considered one direction, that is the x direction. So heat is entering through phase ABC and heat is leaving through phase EFGH in x direction. So if you consider the how much heat is entering, total amount of heat is entering inside the element from from x direction, so that will provide you Q dash suffix x. Okay, so this is minus K suffix x multiplied by A multiplied by dabba T divided by dabba x. Okay, that is Q. Okay, Q suffix x. And if you multiply with the dt, that will provide you Q dash. Okay, if you multiply with the dt, that will provide you Q dash. So Q dash x will be equal to minus K suffix x multiplied by area multiplied by dabba T divided by dabba x multiplied by dt. Okay, further we know that the area of ABCD phase, okay, area of ABCD phase, and it is equal to dy multiplied by dz. Okay, which is the area, which area? The area which is perpendicular to the direction of heat flow. Okay, area which is perpendicular to the direction of heat flow according to the Fourier's law. Okay, so the area will be introduced as a dy multiplied by dz. Okay, now during the same time interval, during that particular time interval dt, the heat is also leaving from the EFGH phase. Okay, so amount of heat leaving the EFGH phase, total amount of heat leaving the EFGH phase will be also introduced in the form of a Q dash x. Why it is? Because how much amount of heat is entered inside the element from ABCD phase, out of that heat, some amount or more than that will be leaving the EFGH phase. Okay, so there will be change in the initial heat only. Okay, it will be addition or it will be the subtraction from the initial heat only. So initial heat is q dash suffix x, and the change in that particular initial heat which is entering inside the element is differentiation of q dash x with respect to x, and total heat change in total heat will be we will get by multiplying by dx. Therefore, net heat accumulated, if you want to find out, then we have to take the difference between how much heat is entered and how much heat is leaving the element. So that is nothing but q dash x, q dash suffix x amount of heat is entering in the element through phase ABCD, and q dash suffix x plus dx amount of heat is leaving the EFGH phase, or the heat is leaving the element from EFGH phase. So difference between that will provide you net amount of heat accumulated inside the element in x direction. So further we have put up the equation for q dash suffix x plus dx. We have done the subtraction. Q dash x minus q dash x will be cancelled, and we will get the negative dabba of dabba x of q dash suffix x multiplied by dx. Further, we have introduced the equation for q dash suffix x, and we'll get this equation. In that equation, minus sign will be cancelled and it will be plus once again. So dq dash x will be equal to dabba of dabba x into bracket k by k suffix x multiplied by dabba t divided by dabba x bracket complete multiplied by dx dy dz multiplied by dt. Okay, here dy and dz are the constant, so we cannot differentiate this dy and dz with respect to dabba x, so that these two are the constant. Here also dabba t, dt is also constant. We cannot differentiate this with respect to x, so this constant we have taken out of the differentiation compartment, or we can say that out of the differentiation bracket. Okay, similarly we will get this equation for the dq dash suffix x, and similar kinds of equation we will get after doing the same procedure for the y direction and z direction. So we will get this equation number 2 for the y direction and equation number 3 for the z direction. Further, we have done the addition of these three equations to find out the net heat accumulated in the element. So we will get this equation after adding three equations. Further, we have to take the common dx, dy, dz, dt from all three parts of the equation, and we will get this particular equation which will be called as a net heat accumulated in the element from all the direction. So we have given this equation number A. Okay, equation number A. Then the part B, calculation of B. So in that we have to find out the total heat generated within the element. For that purpose, we have introduced one new parameter, or we can say that one new symbol as Q suffix G. So Q suffix G is called as the total heat generated per unit volume per unit time. So in equation format, if you want to write down, so Q suffix G is equal to Q dash suffix G whole divided by dx multiplied by dy multiplied by dz, which is the volume of the element, and divided by dt, which is the time period for which we are going to study this particular heat conduction. So we want to find out total heat generation. So we have to transfer this denominator to other side. So we will get the total heat generated. So total heat generated, that is Q dash capital Q dash suffix G is equal to small q suffix G multiplied by volume multiplied by time interval. So that will be our equation number B. Okay, and calculation of C. So energy stored in the element. Okay, so energy stored in the element, for that purpose this is the third part of the equation. So calculation of the C. So the net heat accumulated inside the element and heat generated by the element both serve to increase the thermal energy of the element, and this thermal energy is called as a heat stored in the element. Okay, it's called as a heat stored in the element. So we know the simple formula for heat stored in element, that is nothing but heat stored in any body will be equal to mass of the body multiplied by specific heat of the body multiplied by rise in temperature of that particular body. Okay, so in the equation format, heat stored in the element is equal to we have introduced the mass of the element as density multiplied by volume. So density is rho and volume is dx multiplied by dy multiplied by dz multiplied by. specific heat of the body is C, and the rise in temperature of the body. Okay, so total rise, this is the incremental rise in temperature, that is dabba T divided by dabba small t, and if you multiply with the total time period, then it will be equal to it will be the total rise in temperature of body during that particular time period. Now we have combined all three parts of a energy balance equation. Okay, we have combined all three parts of a energy balance equation, and we come to know that the dx, dy, dz and dt is common in all three parts of the equation. So we have divided on both the sides of equation by dx, dy, dz multiplied by dt. Okay, so further we will get this equation after dividation, and we have introduced the del operator for dabba of dabba x of I plus dabba of dabba y of j plus dabba of dabba z of k is equal to del. Okay, so this is we can say that this is there is no comparison of I, j, k. Okay, this is the general equation. Vector quantity, the equation is about the vector quantity. So I, j, k, there is no general comparison of this particular I, j, k with our equation, or there is no significance of I, j, k in our derivation. But here we can compare. I means k suffix x multiplied by dabba t divided by dabba x. J means k suffix y multiplied by dabba t divided by dabba y. And k means k suffix z multiplied by dabba t divided by dabba z. Okay. So for the for the initial differentiation, okay, we have used the del operator. So out of bracket one del operator. Then k is varying. K is also varying with respect to x, y, z axis. So del operator is for the bracket k multiplied by. Now here in the bracket, temperature is also varying with respect to the coordinate system. Temperature is also varying with respect to coordinate system. So for that also we have introduced one more del operator and remaining equation as it is. So del of k multiplied by del of t bracket complete plus qg is equal to rho multiplied by c multiplied by dabba t divided by dabba small t. That will be our equation number 2. This is called as a general heat conduction equation. So once we get the equation number 2, further we have to deduce that equation into a different format. Okay, and we have to deduce that equation into a different format. So initially we have considered that what we have considered, the material is anisotropic. That is nothing but what the property changing with respect to x, y, z direction. Now here we are assuming that the thermal conductivity of material is constant throughout the axis or throughout the material. So we are considering k suffix x is equal to k suffix y is equal to k suffix z is equal to k. Okay. Once we introduce this constant, k is a constant, then it will be taken out of the bracket. So instead of k suffix x, k suffix y, k suffix z, we are putting only k everywhere. Okay. And we have taken out this k outside the bracket because it is a constant now. Okay. It is not varying. So once we taken outside the bracket, and further we have divided by k throughout the equation. Further we have divided by k throughout the equation. So after dividing, we will get this equation. Okay. We'll get this equation. And here change is that here qg is there, so it will becomes qg divided by k, and here 1 upon k in the last term 1 upon k will be added, or it will be divided by k. Okay. Then we have we get this equation. Now here it is a double derivative for the t. So we have applied the derivative. So it will be dabba 2t divided by dabba x square plus dabba 2t divided by dabba y square plus dabba 2t divided by dabba z square. Okay, and remaining equation as it is. Okay, so further this is called as a del square. Okay, so second derivative of t with respect to axis, that will be considered as a del square t. That will be considered as a del square t, and remaining equation as it is. Okay, here we have introduced one new terminology, that is alpha, which is called as a thermal diffusivity, and it is equal to k by rho c, which is equal to k by rho c. Okay, and it is defined as a ratio of thermal conductivity to the thermal diffusivity. Okay, so after introducing the constant, instead of rho c divided by k, in the last term we have considered 1 upon alpha. Okay, and further we have applied next the next form of general heat conduction equation, that is, if there is no internal heat generation equation, then we will get the Fourier's equation. If there is a steady state heat conduction, in that case we will get the Poisson's equation. Then if both the cases are applied, that is no internal heat generation and steady state, then in that case we will get the Laplace equation. Then further, one dimensional steady state, in that case y and z coordinates are removed and only x coordinate we have considered. If you want to consider z coordinate also, if you want to consider y coordinate, in that case the equation will be modified as per your consideration. Further, we have considered the steady state one dimensional without heat generation. So steady state means q suffix g is equal to 0. Then steady state means dabba t divided by dabba small t is equal to 0. One dimensional means only one coordinate system we have to consider, and no internal heat generation means what? Q suffix g is equal to 0. So after applying this to the equation number 3, we will get this equation. Further, we have considered the two-dimensional and without heat generation equation, steady state two-dimensional without heat generation equation. So now what you understood? First of all, you have to understand the general heat conduction equation and how to interpret in a different format. Okay, according to the statement, you have to interpret this equation into a different format. Okay, if there is a steady state, in that case the last term becomes 0. If there is no internal heat generation, then first term will become second term will become 0. Then if one dimensional heat transfer, then in that case only one coordinate system we have to consider. If two dimensional heat transfer, in that case two coordinate system we have to consider. According to statement, you have to interpret the equation. According to statement, you have to interpret the statement. So these are the different forms of a general heat conduction equation. These are the different forms of a general heat conduction equation. Getting everyone? Now further, the thermal diffusivity. What is the significance of a thermal diffusivity? Important points. Okay, so just now in derivation we have discussed this formula, that is K by rho C, called as alpha, and which is called as a thermal diffusivity. What it signifies? So initially we discussed the definition of a thermal diffusivity as it is a ratio of a thermal conductivity to the thermal capacity. Okay, so thermal conductivity means K and thermal capacity means what? Rho multiplied by C. Okay, now here we need to understand what is the significance of a thermal conductivity. Okay, so in previous some points also we have discussed this part, that is thermal conductivity, how much it is important to understand thermal conductivity. If any material having good thermal conductivity, then the ability of that material is more to transfer the heat as early as possible, or that particular material will transfer the heat as fast as possible. Okay, as the thermal conductivity goes on increasing, or if you consider the higher thermal conductivity materials, then that particular material is having high capability to transfer maximum amount of heat within less time period. That is the significance of a higher thermal conductivity. If you consider the lower thermal conductivity material, so in that case less amount of heat will be transferred by the material. Less amount of heat will be transferred by the material by conduction. Okay, whereas the second term in this alpha, or we can say that in this particular equation, is rho C, rho multiplied by C. That is nothing but density multiplied by specific heat, which is called as a thermal capacity. Now what it signifies? Now here, if any material having higher thermal capacity, then that particular material store maximum amount of heat. Okay, everybody understood what is meant by thermal capacity? If any material is having higher thermal capacity, okay, if any material is having higher thermal capacity, then that particular material will store maximum amount of heat. Whatever it receives, out of that maximum amount of heat will be stored, and which will be utilized to increase the internal energy of that particular material. Okay, Increasing internal energy means what? Increasing temperature of that particular material. Okay, and transferring less amount of heat for the further heat conduction. Transferring less amount of heat for the further heat conduction. Okay, so that is the significance of thermal capacity. So we can say that K and rho C are the opposite of each other. Are the opposite of each other. K is sorry. If K value is more, then heat will transfer more rapidly, and the rho C value is more, then less amount of heat will be transferred, or heat will transfer very slowly. Okay, and maximum amount of heat will be utilized to increase the internal energy of that particular material, or increase the thermal energy of that particular material. So this is the we can say that on these two statements we can say that K and rho C are the opposite parameters for each other. Okay, now we are combining these two things in one part, okay, which is called as a thermal diffusivity, and which will be signified as a alpha, now if alpha value is, when alpha will be higher one, if what we say, when alpha value will be more when thermal conductivity is more and thermal capacity is lower. Okay, thermal conductivity is more and thermal capacity is lower, in that case alpha will be more. Okay, and if thermal conductivity is lesser and thermal capacity is more, in that case alpha value is lesser one. Okay, alpha value is lesser one. Okay, now we will focus now on this particular name of this particular alpha, that is thermal diffusivity. What is meant by diffusion? Let us consider this particular term, diffusion. Diffusion means what? Diffusion means what? Okay, in Marathi it is called as pasravne, pasarne. Okay, pasarne. Okay, diffuse means what? Pasarne किंवा विस्तारित होणे. Okay, so about the heat, about, if you consider this particular term about the heat, then we can say that how fastly heat get diffused in any material. किती लवकर एखाद्या मटेरियल मध्ये हीट पसरते. ओके, एखाद्या मटेरियल मध्ये हीट पसरते त्याला काय म्हणतो आपण? थर्मल डिफ्यूजन म्हणतो. किती फास्ट, कितने फास्ट एक मटेरियल में हीट फैलता है, उसको क्या बोलेंगे हम? डिफ्यूजन, थर्मल डिफ्यूजन बोलेंगे. ओके, now if alpha is more, then we can say that diffusion is faster one. Okay, alpha is greater or more, then we can say that diffusion is faster. And if alpha is lesser one, we can say that diffusion is lesser. So for increasing alpha, higher thermal conductivity is requirement, and the lower thermal capacity is the requirement. And for the low alpha, what are the hampering points? The lesser thermal conductivity or higher thermal capacity. Okay, so these are the points which will reduce the thermal diffusivity, lesser thermal conductivity and higher thermal capacity. Okay, so we can say that on this particular points, I think that you will better understood. Now, the larger the value of alpha, the faster will the heat diffuse the material and its temperature will change with time. Okay, larger the value of alpha, faster will the heat diffuse the material and its temperature will change with time. Okay, so this is due to higher value of thermal conductivity. Or lower value of heat capacity, then a low value of heat capacity. Okay, low value of heat capacity means thermal capacity. A low value of heat capacity means the less amount of heat entering the element would be absorbed and raise its temperature, and more would be available for onward transmission. जब थर्मल कैपेसिटी कम रहेगी, थर्मल कैपेसिटी कम रहेगी, उस मटेरियल की स्टोर करने की कैपेसिटी कम रहेगी, तब क्या होगा, तब लेस अमाउंट ऑफ हीट एब्जॉर्ब करेगा वो मटेरियल और मैक्सिमम अमाउंट ऑफ हीट ट्रांसफर करेगा वो मटेरियल। ओके, लेस अमाउंट ऑफ हीट एब्जॉर्ब करेगा वो मटेरियल और मैक्सिमम अमाउंट ऑफ हीट क्या करेगा, ट्रांसफर करेगा, आगे ट्रांसफर करेगा। सो दैट इज द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ अ लो थर्मल कैपेसिटी और low heat capacity material. Okay, so low value of heat capacity means less amount of heat entering the element would be absorbed, less amount of heat will be absorbed and raise its temperature. Okay, वो heat किस काम के लिए आएगी, जो absorb heat हुई है वो क्या करेगी, उस मटेरियल का टेम्परेचर बढ़ाएगी। ओके, एंड विच विल बी यूज टू रेज इट्स टेम्परेचर। ओके, एंड मोर वुड बी अवेलेबल, जो भी इंटर हुई है मटेरियल में हीट, उसमें से ज्यादातर हीट अवेलेबल रहेगी आगे ट्रांसफर करने के लिए, आगे ट्रांसफर करने के लिए। ओके, गेटिंग माय पॉइंट नाउ। metals and gases have a relatively high value of this particular thermal diffusivity. What it means, metals and gases are higher thermal diffusivity value, and this will respond more quickly for the temperature change, or we can say that more rapidly the response will be given by gases or metals for the temperature change. Okay, whereas the non-metals or the liquids respond very slowly for the temperature change, and because of their relatively small value of a thermal conductivity. Okay, we can say that the thermal conductivity because of their small value of thermal diffusivity. Okay, अल्फा स्मॉल है इसलिए लिक्विड और नॉन मेटल में टेम्परेचर को रिस्पॉन्स कम होता है, और मेटल में और गैसेस में अल्फा की वैल्यू ज्यादा होती है, इसलिए टेम्परेचर को वो क्विकली रिस्पॉन्स करते हैं। ओके, गेटिंग माय पॉइंट। सो this is an important characteristic for unsteady state heat conduction. Okay, remember this point. For unsteady state heat conduction, alpha is more important. Okay, we are going to discuss about the unsteady state heat conduction in the last part of this particular chapter. In that case, alpha plays very important role. Alpha plays very important role. Getting my point, everyone? What is meant by thermal diffusivity and the significance of thermal diffusivity? Please note down the points. Please note down the points. Thermal diffusivity, thermal diffusivity, thermal diffusivity, thermal diffusivity, alpha is equal to K by rho C, K divided by rho multiply by C, K divided by rho multiply by C equal to thermal conductivity divided by thermal capacity. Thermal conductivity divided by thermal capacity. First point, larger the value of alpha, larger the value of alpha, larger the value of alpha, the faster will the heat diffuse, the faster will the heat diffuse, the faster will the heat diffuse डिफ्यूज वाटल्यास मिनिंग लिहा, कंसात तुम्ही मिनिंग लिहू शकता, पसरने, और अगर हिंदी में लिखना चाहेंगे तो फैलना लिख सकते हैं, फैलना, पसरने मराठी मध्ये, हिंदी में फैलना, डिफ्यूज का मीनिंग। द लार्जर द वैल्यू ऑफ अल्फा, द फास्टर विल द हीट डिफ्यूज द मटेरियल, and its temperature will change, with time, okay, and its temperature will change with time. With time. Full stop. Full stop. This is due to, next point, this is due to high value of high value of thermal conductivity, high value of thermal conductivity high value of thermal conductivity or low value of low value of low value of heat capacity, low value of heat capacity, low value of heat capacity. Full stop. Next point, a low value of heat capacity means 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 the less amount of heat, the less amount of heat, the less amount of heat entering the element, entering the element, entering the element, comma, would be absorbed, would be absorbed, would be absorbed and and raise its temperature and raise its temperature and raise its temperature and more and more and more would be available and more would be available and more would be available for onward transmission, onward transmission. Next point, next point, metals and gases, metals and gases have metals and gases have high value of thermal diffusivity, high value of thermal diffusivity and their response to the temperature change, to the temperature change is quite rapid, is quite rapid, is quite rapid, is quite rapid. Full stop. Next point, the non-metallic solids and the non-metallic solids and liquids respond slowly to temperature change, to temperature change because of their because of sorry because of their relatively because of their relatively small value of thermal diffusivity, because of their small value of thermal diffusivity. Okay, and the last point, thermal diffusivity is an important characteristic quantity for unsteady conduction situation. Unsteady conduction situation. Getting everyone? Okay, important point, thermal diffusivity. Okay, whether you understood or not, please comment in chat box. Is there any doubt, any question? Whether you understood or not. Is there any doubt? Okay, no doubt. Okay, great. So you can comment your roll numbers in the chat box. We'll stop here. Okay.